What's up guys, I'm Olivia and you're watching Drivin and Vibin. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 reasons you should renovate an RV, so stay tuned. Welcome back to our channel everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. So last week Kyle made a video about the 10 reasons not to renovate an RV. So this week we wanted to go over 10 reasons that you should renovate one. So today it is a little bit rainy here in Alabama, so we're filming in Kyle's mom's house. This is Pippa down here with me hanging out for the video. So we'll jump right into this list of 10 reasons why you might want to renovate an RV, and they're in no specific order. So number one on the list is it could potentially save you money in the long run. Obviously, there's a lot of factors and variables at play here, such as the size of the renovation you're doing, but it could be considerably less than buying a brand new rig. This is exactly why we chose to renovate. We would have loved to buy a new Airstream off the lot, but we just could not afford it. We didn't have $100,000 laying around, and we weren't ready to accumulate more debt. So for us, spending the time and energy to renovate was a better option for us, and we could get closer to our dream rig instead of just settling for something. The second reason you might want to renovate an RV is that you can learn so much about your rig. Especially when you're going into RV life, it can be a little daunting to learn all of the ropes and not really know how your rig works or where anything is in there if something does go wrong. So we like that we have this peace of mind to know where all the wiring is. We know exactly where to troubleshoot an issue if one does arise. You will obviously just get to know your RV over time as you live in it, but this definitely gives you a very up close and personal look at all the ins and outs of your RV, and you will definitely have a lot of confidence going forward. Number 3 on the list is you can learn a lot of new skills and save on repairs in the future. This is honestly one of my favorite things about doing this renovation is I have learned so much and I have so many new skills now. And I have this newfound confidence that if I need to fix something or build something, I know that I can make it happen. And going into it, I just was a little afraid to start these projects because I had never done any of those things before. But you get over that fear pretty quickly. You're gonna mess up some stuff, it just happens. But now that I have these skills for the rest of my life, and they apply to all areas of life, not just RVing. Just to get an idea of things that we can now handle on our own, we now have a lot more experience with dealing with wiring issues. We have more experience with plumbing now. I feel very comfortable building, and my carpentry skills have definitely improved. So I feel great like working with wood and seeing a finished product at the end of the day. It's a great way to gain that knowledge, and you have less fear because it's not brand new. If it's already old and used, you feel less bad if the repair doesn't go exactly the way you planned, but at least you have one step between you having to either invest in having someone else repair it or buy a completely new unit or whatever you're repairing. Number 4 on the list is you can completely customize the rig to your needs. So we built out this Airstream from scratch. There was nothing in it, not even floors. So I got very familiar with the program SketchUp, and I got to design the entire layout. And if you guys have been following for a while, you know I designed quite a few layouts before we got to our final one, but it really helped me be able to imagine it more and kind of solidify the different things that were important to us that we needed in our rig and the different spaces and functionality that we wanted. I wanted it to be aesthetically pleasing and also as multifunctional as possible. So it let me play around with a lot of different ideas, see what would work and what wouldn't work, and do everything to scale too and have the exact dimensions. So we referred back to that when we were actually building. We love boondocking, so we wanted it to be able to go off-road to some more off the beaten path areas. So we did give it like a 4-inch lift, and that will give us a little bit more clearance. We also put solar panels on the roof. We have a huge lithium battery bank that's gonna help us stay out in those boondocking locations longer. Number 5 on the list is that you will have a completely unique rig. There will not be another one like it out there. And that's pretty cool and a great conversation starter. It's also fun when you meet new friends to show them the different features that you included in your rig. We've learned so much that way. We met our friends Karen and Paolo through the Escapers, and they had just renovated an Argosy, and we got to tour their rig, see all the different features that they had in there, so we could really get an idea of the space and walk around. And some of their design features were really, really smart, and it gave us lots of good inspiration for our renovation. Also, our friends Always on Liberty did an amazing job remodeling their rig, and it is like the cutest ever. It has this cool Key West theme. They painted all the walls, have unique little knobs and handles. Definitely go check out their blog. They have tons of articles and tips and tricks about how they updated their fifth wheel. Number 6 on the list, which is a huge perk to me, is that your rig will feel a lot more homey than the typical stock rig right off the lot. A lot of times they are done in very generic color schemes. They look a little bit outdated or a little too dark, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's awesome if it ends up being your perfect style and preference of design, but for most people it's not always their favorite. So you can definitely feel like you're right at home in a space that you created and cultivated with all of your favorite things. Next up is number 7, and that is you will have much better quality materials in your rig. This is something we definitely have a lot of experience with because all of the original structures were already demolished when we picked up our Argosy. So we built all the frames with new wood and new materials, and it's not that flimsy particle board stuff that will just disintegrate or you can poke a hole through. So we feel like everything is really, really solid, and you can actually like screw in a picture or anything into the wall, and you don't have to worry about it just kind of falling off because it's not going into anything. So you can definitely invest in some better quality materials. You just have to be aware of the weight that it's adding to your rig. An easy upgrade that a lot of our friends have done is installing new floors in their rigs that are a lot more durable and stand up to the traffic of full-time RV life. Number 8 is that it can be a really great creative outlet. I love designing the layout for the rig and seeing my vision come to life. To see it in person now is amazing. That's something that I just came up with in my brain is now physically in front of me. Was such a rewarding feeling, and it was so fun I spent hours designing on SketchUp and trying different layouts and different design options. So you can really kind of flex those creative muscles and just see what happens and see what you like. I didn't even know exactly what I wanted until I started doing it and piecing it together one thing at a time. And you can scratch that creative itch in so many different ways. If you're more electrical tech minded, you might want to design the whole electrical system or the solar array or the battery system. That might be what excites you. Or if you just like to match throw pillows and throw blankets, paint a wall, throw some wallpaper on there, and replace the knob. That all can lead to a very rewarding renovation process. Number 9 is this could be a really fun hobby. If it's not something that you have to do immediately to live in and creates that little extra level of stress, it could be a fun side project you do if you already have a rig to live in the meantime. I definitely think a lot of people would be up for debate on this point because it is very difficult and challenging, but we also know people that have multiple Airstreams. They have like 5 Airstreams that they renovated. They really love the process. We have a friend, Courtney, who the flipping nomad, and she renovates rigs all the time, and so she gets to take someone's rig and turn it into their dream home and give it a new life basically. So there's lots of people that find a lot of joy in just the renovation process, even if it's not for themselves. Last but not least is number 10 on our list, and that's you don't have to go into debt. This was a big thing for us. Obviously, you could go into debt doing this, but for us, it was a priority not to have that huge upfront payment and to know that we could put money into it as we had it available to us. So that kind of determined our pace with the project as well, and how much we decided to hire out versus do for ourselves. This gave us a lot more control on our finances and the extra peace of mind that we wanted. So if you're not in a place where you're ready to accumulate more debt at this time, this might be a good option for you to move a little bit slower, put a little bit more time and energy into it, but have a wonderful reward at the end. So this process definitely isn't for everyone and isn't their cup of tea. And I'm sure Kyle gave you lots of reasons why it might not be your cup of tea, but hopefully I shed a little light on some of the more positive aspects of renovating an RV as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope you learned some things today. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.